It started when Christina Angeli, she called me, she talked to me about 7.
Decided to do 7 in the WINConference because I came across this play about a year and a half ago, or probably 2 years ago, and I thought it was so interesting because it dealt with some really tough issues related to women, such as violence, shame, and also hope and courage.
The theme that catched me really strong, it was the relationship between when I feel victim of something and when instead I am responsible, like almost like to transform my destiny in a mission.
The time wasn't right last year for some reason, and then we did a conference in India, smaller conference, and India had enormous problems with rapes and violence, and that had just come up in the media, and I thought, let's try it. And it's not so risky in a way because we had 150 people and the topic was really hot, and we managed to do it, and I thought, wow, this was very successful. We need to bring it to the global stage and bring it here into the global WINConference to more people, more decision makers. And here we have politicians present, we have leaders of big organizations and other NGOs, and if they can watch it and so that we can create more awareness, more women can go out and do something about those issues, or whatever else they're dealing with too. I find that these ladies that are in the play have such courage. So even if we are doing small little lives and the challenge is a very little challenge on a bigger scale, when you learn about those ladies, you understand that maybe your little problem is just a little problem. So I think I can give inspiration far beyond the issues of violence and domestic violence and rape and so on.
I shared with them a quote from Richard Bach. If it's never your fault, then you cannot take responsibility for it. And if you cannot take responsibility for it, then you will be always its victim. That for me has a big connection with 7.
I think I was moved by the different stories that these ladies had, and everybody had such a intense story to tell, and yet they come from far, and I think that just the different stories, that is what stayed with me. It's so funny because I think I can actually relate to her. It's so funny, it's really weird. Because there's certain things like when she says she had low self-esteem. God, did I have low self-esteem. And then to see where she came from and then to get to the point where she realizes that, you know what she's saying, people are actually listening to her. Because there was a point that I thought, you know, when I talk, I have a feeling I'm not making much sense. People don't really understand. So that was difficult for me as well. So I really can relate to her character, and so for me it's quite easy to, you know, read that and talk about it.
Okay, when you're ready.
When I read the script, I was very touched and shaken by the intensity of these women's experiences. And when you asked me, you know, who I most related to, identified with, it was easy for me because Annabella's no nonsense and she just gets down to business. And I think also the pain of some of the other characters was too much for me. I didn't think I could hold that pain. And Annabella, you know, I'm a bit like her.
It's about responsibility. That means I'm not responsible for what happened to me, because you know, you never know. Somebody can enter here and say, "Hey," with a gun in my head. So I cannot be responsible for that. Still, I'm responsible for my answer. The way I answer, well, that is a choice.
But she
I'm
suffers
responsible
with me
for that.
and wants me to go on living. But if I don't commit suicide, what am I going to do?
Excuse me, Christina, I saw, and it's more beautiful if you start to go from the beginning, like talking from the window.
Yeah. Nice. So men of the asteroid came to our home.
I think the basic thing which touched me was her concern for the human rights. What do human rights mean to us? You know, the basic declaration she's talking about, the rights that we have. The right to live. We all have the right to live, but do we give the right to live? Are we giving that right to live to the other person?
If you can share with me something that this character gave to you in some way.
And it gives you a special responsibility when you interpret a character which really exists. And it's so different when, as you were mentioning, if you play Shakespeare, it's different because I felt much more responsible because I had the impression that through my words, people in the audience could get involved and perhaps try to know more about Sochu and perhaps help her. So of course, you feel very. I really felt I wanted to do my best in order to, in a way, to help her project.
Yeah, it's really great.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you.
And then I discovered that in her there were many parts that I could relate to. I haven't gone through the same experience, of course, and at the same time there are things she does when she was in such a difficult situation. Instead of going into despair and disappear, so to speak, she chose to improve the situation.
I'm playing the character for Marina Pisklova. She founded the first hotline in Russia. She's been so strong in being a single person, doing everything by herself, but not giving up, saying like, no, I'm alone. So she continued to fight, and she took each and every case so seriously, all the problems of these people.
Despite the fact of what they experienced, they decided to take the strength from what they have experienced and do something, give something back, and help other women and make the world a better place for women.
Let's try to share something. If you want to share something, you have to start for yourself. You cannot share something that didn't touch you. If something happened to me, then I can share with you.
A lot of hope. So there is a lot of hope in spite of the despair.
Seven is about 7 women and it's about they spoke out loud that they have a voice, they have a life.